For drawing 2.4, we're going to be working with some circles, and in order to pull this off successfully, we're going to have to tape our paper down. So as usual, when we're working with tools, we want to be taped down. We'll pick a piece of tape about 5 inches long, you'll have 4 strips, and then use the horizontal edge printed on the page to line that up with the edge of your T-square or parallel bar. And of course your T-square or parallel bar, the head of it on the left-hand side is against the table. And I've got my tape in the top, and I got my tape on the bottom. Now the page won't move around while I'm trying to draw it with the tools. So we have a number of different things that we're going to take care of on this one. The first one is to draw a circle through 3 points, point A, point B, and point C. Let's zoom in a little bit. To do this, we're going to have to lay out some construction lines. First thing we're going to do is connect point A to point B. And you want to be very precise when you do this. Make sure the tip of your pencil is exactly at the intersection of point A. And it's going to land exactly at point B. Because if we're off a little tiny bit, that's going to show up later on. Alright, so that's my line AB. And what I'm going to do now is I'm going to set up my compass and I'm going to bisect this line. Now, this is something we've done before, bisect. So we know that we need to set up the compass on the point. The lead needs to go somewhere past the halfway point where we're estimating halfway is supposed to be. And then we're going to swing an arc. And I'll do the same thing from the other point, point B, at the other end of the line. Again, very precise on your needle. And we'll swing an arc. And I'm being very careful not to change the radius or move the wheel while I'm doing this. Alright, and there's the football shape. And we know that what we do is we line up the 2 points on the football. And carefully draw a line through them. And that line there is the bisector. Okay, so what I really wanted, I want the bisector. Okay. Now if it makes it easier for you to keep track of what you're doing, you can go in and do a little bit of erasing. You could erase the arcs, because we don't need them anymore. And you don't have to be too crazy about erasing them. If they're lightly left on the page, that's fine. So mostly what I cared about was the bisecting line. And we can even get rid of line AB, or at least most of it. Okay, so this is the bisector of line AB. I'm going to make another line now, line BC. You could do AC if you want. You could do BC if you want. The point is we're going to connect 2 of the other points. So again, very precise on my start point. Make sure that when you finish, very precise on your end point. That is line BC. Okay. I haven't moved my distance here. I haven't spun the wheel any, so I'm going to just recycle the setting that it's on. Right, here is my arc for circle at point B. I'm going to do the same radius circle at point C. And what we'll see is, there it is, right? Another football. And if I want to bisect, I'm going to draw a line from one end of the football through the other end. Okay. Again, what do I care about? I care about the bisector of AB. I care about the bisector of BC. I really don't care about anything else on here. So what I'm going to do is just clear things up a little bit. Erase some of that line work I don't need anymore. I can get rid of the two arcs I just drew. And I can get rid of the line from B to C. Okay, what I'm really looking for is that spot right there. X marks the spot. In fact, you can go all the way back to the X if you want. All we need is that small x, because that tells me this is where I need to start my circle if I want to touch point A, B, and C. Okay, so what am I going to do? Well, we're going to take our compass, and now we are going to adjust it. We're going to put the point at the X. X marks the spot. We're going to adjust the wheel and move the lead until the lead is touching one of those points. I'm going to set my lead to touch point B. But before I draw a circle, I want to just verify. Does it also touch point A? It does. Does it also touch point C? It does. So now when I make my circle, I'm going to see I've got a circle that passes through all 3 points. Now, if you're off a little bit, you might want to examine. Hey, did I really put the needle in the exact center? Or is it off a little? And when I bisected my lines, did I really take my time and make it careful? Because if you're off just a little tiny bit on each of those things, then at the end we're going to have a big gap at least one of these points. Okay, so this is how we will draw a circle through 3 points, A, B, and C. Our next task is to find the center of the circle. So I have the circle here, but I don't know where the center point is. I didn't make it with a compass, so there's no hole in the paper to tell me where the center is. So this is really simple. If you are taped down, and if your parallel bar has been set up, or your T-square, and you're able to draw some parallel lines, some straight horizontal lines, what you want to do is you want to draw a line at the very top of that circle. You want to draw a line tangent to the top of that circle. Okay, and now what I'm going to do is I'm going to draw a line perpendicular to the sides of the circle. So that means I need my parallel bar or my T-square against the edge of the desk. I'm going to slide down the T-square on the top edge, and then very carefully I'm going to draw a line on the right and left sides of that circle, tangent to the circle. Now again, make sure you're being very precise, because off a little bit is not going to give us the results that we want. Okay. And now for our next trick, what we want is we want our 45-degree triangle. Now we don't want the long, skinny one. That's 30, 60, 90. We want the one that's got 2 equal angles, 45, 45, 90. And what you can do is you can put your 45-degree triangle up at this corner and go down. And you can put your 45-degree triangle up at this corner and you can go down. And in doing so, we just found the center of our circle. If you're not sure, if you wanted to double check it to make sure you got it right, compass point goes in the very center of the circle. Make a little circle just a little bit smaller than the circle that's there. And And what we should see is we should see an even gap all the way around. That shows us we did find the exact center of that circle. So, didn't know where the center was, now we do. Here, didn't know where to put the center point to make the circle. It took a lot more work. Inscribe a square in the given circle. Okay, so for our method or our strategy, well, we're going to do something similar to this. Fact is, you could draw a line anywhere through the top part of that circle to find its center. I'm going to draw a line here. Horizontal line going exactly through. And then if you bring down the point where the circle intersects that horizontal line, remember I'm using my parallel bar and I'm using my triangle, one on top of the other. And I'm going to come straight down, and I'll do the same thing over here. I'm going to come straight down. And now I can just pick up my triangle and kind of freewheel it from here to here, where the line ends against the circle to where the line ends against the circle. I'll do the same thing here, where the line ends against the circle to the opposite corner, where that line stops at the circle. Okay, and we just found the center point. So this is another way to find the center point of a circle. We did one way up here. We're doing a second way here. Now, the task wasn't to find the center. The task was to draw a square inside that circle. And this is not a square. I don't know if you can see this or not, but if you were to do this, right, that's a rectangle. It's not a square. The reason we set up the three lines and the X was to find the center point, because that's essential to what we're about to do. I'm going to get rid of everything else I drew, and I'm hoping you drew yours lightly, so that when it's time to erase, no problem erasing. Okay, what I really want is I want X. X marks the spot. So, now that I know where the center of the circle is, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my 45-degree triangle. I'm going to start at the center point, and I'm going to go up to the edge of the circle, the perimeter of the circle at 45 degrees. Okay. Here we are. So now I'm going to go down vertical, which means parallel bar, T-square is set up, triangles on top of it. Then make a new line. And then from that point I go horizontal to here. And from that point I go vertical. 1, 2, 3 sides, and then here's our final side. And these 2 points should line up nicely. Okay, and that is our square drawn through, inscribed from the center point of the circle. Now, it looks to me like on the screen, it looks more like a rectangle. In fact, there's some distortion going on, it looks like. This doesn't look like a circle, it looks like an ellipse. So I don't know what to tell you. We're having technical difficulties on the camera, and we're getting some distortion. But trust me, that's a circle, and that's a square. Just like that's a circle, and that's a circle. All right. Last but not least, draw an equilateral triangle on what base? DE. So we're going to draw a triangle, 3 sides. Each side is equal length. we're going to use DE as the base. So to set this up, point of the triangle goes to D. Open the leg until it's touching E on the lead. And then make an arc going up and to the left. Okay. Now we're going to put our point on E. And our lead will be down at D. And we'll make another arc going up to the right. Now if you're looking at that and saying, well, that's not really an equilateral triangle, that looks like a real chubby triangle. You're right, it's not. But what we were trying to find was that spot right there. Because now I can go back with my triangle and I can freewheel it and connect the apex here at the top to D. And then connect that apex down to E. And now what we've got is we've got a triangle, 3 equal sides on base DE. So this is how we take care of sheet 2.4. You're going to go in and very carefully add some very light guidelines. And then you'll be printing your name, all caps, down the bottom to finish this off.